in studio with us. We're going to welcome in Chief Marketing Strategist and CEO of Market Rebellion, Mark Lopresti, and Financial Market Analyst, Mitch Feierstein. Gentlemen, good morning to you both. We appreciate you being here in studio. Mark, let's start with you on this one. So sales of previously owned U.S. homes increasing in the month of August. This as lower mortgage rates pulled buyers back into the market, though a softening labor market could curb further gains. Mark, is it fair to say that right now is a good time to be shopping around for a house?
It's getting better. We're not quite there yet. The banks priced in that first 25 basis point cut that we got at the last FOMC meeting in anticipation of getting that cut, which of course Jay Powell delivered. Perhaps not as much as some of us would have liked him to deliver. I would have liked to get 50, but that was not to be. But there are, of course, 2 more cuts still to come between now and the end of the year. I expect rates to fall even further. But the fact that that existing home sales number finally budged, finally unfroze after quarter and year after year of being completely stuck, no movement in existing home sales is a good sign for buyers.
Yeah, and I feel like especially in this segment, it was month after month. We just kept saying the same thing over and over. So moving on a little bit, let's take to the skies. So aviation company Lufthansa Group set to can 4,000 jobs. That's by 2030. That with the help of artificial intelligence. So digitalization and consolidating work among member airlines. You know, that's actually despite reports of strong demand for air travel and predicted stronger profits for that company. The focus would be at administrative roles. Mitch, I've been warning about AI. Do you think this is an AI disaster just waiting to happen, or am I totally off here?
No, look, I think that this is just the headline. Lufthansa has its own problems. Germany has its own problems with its economy. They're spending 9% OPEX right now, so it's poorly managed. The 4,000 jobs is a little bit, it's not really a lot, because if you think about Lufthansa, that's 1,000 per year for 4 years, and they've got 100,000 employees, so that's only 1%. But they're spending too much money on admin and back office stuff. So what they're going to do is use AI as a tool to cut down some of their expenses, because their expense ratio is double what it should be, and their stock has dropped 70%. So investors have no confidence in the company and leadership. So they've got to change something. So they've come out with this grand announcement that, oh my God, this is how we're going to improve profitability by cutting our workforce 1% over the next 4 years for each year.
Yeah, so when you break it down like that, it doesn't sound as bad as kind of a juicy headline.
Right,
okay.
Exactly.
So President Trump announcing he would be imposing 100% tariffs on all films that are produced overseas that are then sent back into the United States. Trump taking it to Truth Social, writing, quote, "Our movie-making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing, quote, candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, has been particularly hit hard." So, Mark, you know, Trump, he actually teased this a few months ago, back in May, that he was thinking about doing this. Could this upend, you know, Hollywood's global business model on one sense than the other? Where does that money unfortunately maybe get passed off to the consumer? Because a lot of these movie makers, they go overseas because it's so much cheaper.
Of course. I mean, if we remember the spaghetti westerns of the 50s and 60s, they were called that because those movies were made in Italy, even they were supposed to be made on the great American Wild West.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's cheaper to make movies overseas. The other thing that other countries, including Canada, by the way, Toronto Film Commission, they've done a great job of this, creating tax incentive programs that make it just too easy relative to making movies here to do it in other places. And it's going to be interesting to see what the response is from Hollywood and our friends in California, who of course are going to make a complete uproar over this, when really if you leaned in and brought movie making back to the United States, brought movie making back to California, we don't make movies in California anymore. We really don't, by and large, because of the costs, because of the anti-business policies of the government there, of Governor Newsom. So we'll see how this plays out. If they're smart, it would be a good thing for Hollywood, but unfortunately, I'm not expecting that kind of a response just so quickly.
No, and it is, you make such a good point, because I'll be watching a movie and I'll say, where was this movie filmed? And they'll say Vancouver almost every single time.
Absolutely.
I swear everything is now filmed in Vancouver and in Canada.
Who knew?
Who knew? My goodness gracious. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. But again, Mark Lopresti, Mitch Feierstein, thank you, gentlemen, for coming in this morning. Really appreciate it.